Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien with Bubba sitting in for Paul Harvey today. Stand by for the rest of the story. Well, it was a hot week, and they had to move the trial outdoors because there was no air conditioning and it was getting hot in there. Trial lasted 7 days. The defendant, or the accused, I don't think if you were there and if you read the content, the transcripts of everything that went on there, I don't think he ever knew what he was there for. But he liked the attention, and he got himself more and more in trouble with the prosecutor as the trial went on. And the prosecutor was a character. I mean, he could sell you anything. He was a good orator, and his opening and closing statements were pretty good. So were the defense. The defense was had his A game for this one. The trial lasted 7 days. Anyway, the defendant was found guilty, and he had to pay a charge of $100, which the uh, state Supreme Court overturned on a technicality, so technically his case was overturned. Interesting, huh? And the rest of the story is the case. And here we go. The trial was held in a city called Dayton, Tennessee. Little town. And it was a hot July. The trial ended on July 21st, 1925. Yes, 1925. The defendant, John Scopes. The prosecutor, William Jennings Bryan. And the defense attorney, Clarence Darrow. Yes, I'm talking about what we call today the monkey trial. It was called the Scopes trial. Putting evolution on trial, as today's people would call it. They didn't call it that time. But anyway, it was like today's people putting abortion on trial. And you have your different factions. Back then you did. And for you Republicans who are pro-abortion here, remember, you were anti-evolutionist back in the 19. You Democrats. You Democrats were like the Republicans are today, pro-abortion. Well, you were pro-Bible, big time. It was like the evangelicals were reversed back then. The Democrats were the evangelicals, and the Republicans were the liberals. Kind of funny, huh? But anyway, the Scopes trial ended, and like I said, it was reversed. And the act which caused it, which was passed that same year by Tennessee, by the way, as a test, the Butler Act, well, it limped along till 1967 when it was repealed. But most people today would say, oh, the evolutionist won. No, and neither did the creationist or the Bible or the Bible thumpers or the what we call today evangelical Christians, i.e. those crazy Republicans of today. No, what happened, and the LCOU fought tooth and nail to get the Bible to be number one in the country, big time, and lost every time. No, it wasn't that they went underground, but they suffered a huge loss. Because 5 days after the trial ended, William Jennings Bryan died. He was the face of this. Remember, he ran 3 times for president. 1896, 1900, and 1908. And he was a good orator and very much a fundamentalist Christian that didn't like evolution and science. He hated them with a passion. The same way that Clarence Darrow was as atheist as you can be. So you see, those two guys were like Republicans and Democrats, where you got the liberal Democrat socialist and those crazy conservative evangelical and right-wing Republicans today fighting on abortion. Ain't that crazy? Well, the legacy of the monkey trial is evolution never became number one in the land, and the evangelicals never were wiped off the face of the earth. In fact, evolution became accepted because of Sputnik. When what happened with the Russians in 1957, that kind of doomed the fundamentalists. They went kind of underground. They were still here, and they're still here today. I mean, the Republican Party has them. They're called the deplorables, part of them. But also, William Jennings Bryan and the Democratic Party, it was kind of a sour grapes to them when he won and lost, because he won the case, but the case was dismissed by the state of Tennessee because they didn't want to handle it. And it cost another fundamentalist, Catholic by nature, Al Smith, the election 3 years later. So the Democrats changed. They became less fundamentalist, and the Republicans took the mantle. So you see, Americans, nothing changes. We still got the same stupid fight, except that it's not evolution and it's not fundamentalist Christians, but it's abortion, which in the same way you got the scientists from the evolutionists on one side, which want to have abortion, and the anti-abortionist, i.e. Republicans, who want to eliminate it and wipe it off the face of the earth, just like the guys who wanted evolution not to be taught in any schools, anywhere, ever. So you see, you still got the same mentality. This is your favorite aliens, sitting in for Paul Harvey, and this was the rest of the story.